News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Smoke alarms save lives. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It is Friday. Congratulations, you made it. It's Friday, April 1st, 2016. Watch out now. Anything could happen. Not necessarily on our show, of course. But just be ready for anything. It is April Fool's Day. Clear 32 degrees in Missoula right now. Our newscast this morning sponsored by Nissan and Hyundai of Missoula under new management, offering rebates, discounts, and 0% financing and a huge selection of inventory. Our top story this morning, residents of a Missoula apartment building, as we reported yesterday, say their smoke alarms alerted them to an early morning fire, allowing them to escape. The Missoula Fire Department responded to a 911 call at the two-story, 5-unit apartment building shortly before 6 o'clock yesterday morning. Make that 5 a.m. Thursday morning. Due to heavy fire in the stairwell, residents evacuated through their windows. Battalion Chief Kip Napstead said the fire was extinguished and no injuries were reported. The Red Cross responded to assist the 11 displaced residents of the 4 damaged apartments. Cody Kruger told the Missoulian he and his sons were awakened by the fire alarm at 5:40 a.m. He says he saw his upstairs neighbors jumping from their window while someone else pounded on his window and shouted fire. He said he escaped out the front window. The cause of the fire still under investigation. In a Facebook message from Ward 5 City Councilor Julie Armstrong, she asks for support for the proposed 2-cent per gallon gas tax. And I quote from the Facebook message, "Revenue from the proposed loft tax can only be used for roads and road maintenance in the county limits. That being said, it allows us," of course she's speaking for herself, "it allows us to capture funds from anyone who purchases gasoline, not diesel, in the city limits." She says, in parentheses, think tourists. And it can only be a max of 2 cents per gallon. Since we're too large to be considered a tourist town, we cannot capture special option tourist taxes like whitefish. Currently, we only have one revenue stream into the city budget, your property taxes. That's it. There's nothing else. So if you want some relief from a possible raise in those taxes to cover potholes, curbs, etc., this is the way to do it. Please, if this is something you support, you need to reach out to county commissioners and let them know. They're the only ones that can put the matter on a ballot for your vote. Stacey Rye, Cola Rowley for Missoula County Commissioner, and Gene Curtis. That in a Facebook message from Ward 5's Julie Armstrong. On Wednesday of this week, BNSF Railway Chairman Matthew Rose announced that 4,600 railroad employees had been furloughed. Montana Department of Labor and Industry senior economist Barbara Wagner said the furloughs are due to a slowdown overseas and should not have a big impact on Montana.
The lower demand is in Russia and China and a slower global economy. We're not necessarily having the slower economy domestically that's causing those problems. So part of the railroads and BNSF in particular, they touch a lot of export products, which in Montana include a lot of oil, coal, and wheat.
Because railroad employees pay into the Railroad Retirement Fund instead of the more common unemployment insurance, Wagner says she doesn't know how many Montana jobs will be affected.
The U.S. Department of Labor and the Montana Department of Labor do not track railroad employees for unemployment insurance, so it's difficult for us to say how many of those employees were impacted. But certainly, along the High Line, there's communities that have a little less wage income, so that would impact them.
On the bright side, the slowdown in the railroad industry means it'll be cheaper for agricultural and other Montana goods to be shipped by rail. A Montana lawmaker says he never knowingly received illegal campaign contributions from conservative groups during his 2010 election campaign. Representative Art Wittig testified during his trial yesterday that he hired a printing company called Direct Mail and Communications based on recommendations from other Republican lawmakers. He acknowledged that they mailed letters to voters on his behalf and designed his website, but he said he paid for the mailings and the site. Commissioner of Political Practices Jonathan Modell said Direct Mail and Communications is one of 8 corporations operating under the National Right to Work Committee that provided a wide range of illegal campaign services. He said Wittig did not report most of the services received, and Wittig undervalued those he did report. Missoula Association of Realtors released their official annual Missoula Housing Report for 2015 yesterday, and it contained doses of both good and bad news. Windermere Real Estate Brent Wahlberg was on the team that put the annual report together and gave the positive news first.
What we saw for 2015 was 1,390 residential sales here in Missoula. That's almost a 10% increase compared to last year. Our median sales price has gone up from $225 all the way up to $238,700. So that's a little over a 6% increase.
Now, the not-so-good news on housing affordability.
A lot of our first-time buyers don't have that 20% down payment. So we took another look and we assumed the buyer only has a 4% down payment. We had to add in mortgage insurance. And when you apply that, it pretty much, as expected, punches out affordability for all household sizes.
Wahlberg says affordability is becoming more and more challenging for median income wage earners. In Missoula now, 59% of Missoula rents their homes, so there are more renters than homeowners in the city. A federal appeals court has ruled it was okay for a Montana Highway Patrol trooper to lie about the reason for a traffic stop made during a 2012 drug sting. A three-member panel of the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court issued the ruling yesterday. The case of Hector Megalon Lopez, who's serving a 10-year prison sentence. He sought to suppress as evidence the 2 pounds of methamphetamine found in his car. The circuit judges said a stop is legal as long as the facts exist to justify the stop. In this case, officers had been listening to a wiretap and were expecting a car carrying meth to come through southwestern Montana when they stopped Megalon Lopez's car. Vehicle owners across the state are reporting a seasonal scam finding its way into local mailboxes. Montana's Office of Consumer Protection Director Matthew Dale warns the public to be cautious.
What we find, especially this spring, this month, all kinds of mailings. They don't all look alike. They don't all say exactly the same thing, but they're a variation on a theme that the recipient owes money either for a car repair or a car warranty. That, in fact, is bogus.
Dale said this year's mailers look more official than normal and may even use the header Montana Motor Vehicle Division. However, he says the state does not do direct calls or calls to urgent action like these flyers require.
If they paid with a credit card or something along that line, those are pretty successful, but if they've wired funds or sent cash, those are very difficult to resolve. They like to make the amount manageable for most people to pay. So we're seeing anywhere from $20 to maybe a couple hundred.
Dale said residents in Missoula have reported receiving the mailer. Some have been finding 2 to 3 in their mailbox every week. Finally, Montana's Superintendent of Public Instruction, Denise Juneau, said this year's Smarter Balance testing is going smoothly. Students in grades 3 through 8 began taking the computer-based math and language assessments last week, and Superintendent Juneau said yesterday some schools have already completed their testing. Our News Talk time now, 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Mostly sunny skies in the Missoula area today. This afternoon, getting to a high of right around 63. We'll get close to 70 degrees on Saturday with more sunshine, and sun continues through the weekend. I'm meteorologist Matt Gray for the NBC Montana Severe Weather Alert Team.